Welcome back to my channel, Celeb Buzz. Please share and subscribe and press the bell icon for new updates. Redd Foxx finally tells the truth about Nancy Kulp. Redd Foxx was born John Elroy Sanford on December 9th, 1922 in St. Louis, Missouri. He grew up on the south side of Chicago. Foxx saw how hard life was for poor people and black people when he was young. This tough life later helped shape his bold, honest comedy style. He quit high school in 10th grade and started performing in clubs. He slowly built his career during a time when black performers had very few chances to succeed. In the 1940s and 1950s, Redd Foxx became known as a Chitlin circuit performer. He traveled to black clubs across the country. He created a special kind of raw, sometimes dirty humor that was too shocking for most audiences. He quickly became famous for being the king of party records. He made over 50 comedy albums filled with uncensored material that made him very popular with adult fans. These records were underground hits that made him known as a comedy genius. He was a truck teller who talked openly about race, sex, and unfair treatment in ways few people dared to do. His albums had titles like Laugh of the Party, You Gotta Wash Your Ass, and I Ain't Lied Yet. His albums sold millions of copies, even though they were too explicit for mainstream radio. These recordings broke new ground. They helped break down racial barriers in entertainment and paved the way for future comedians like Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy, and Chris Rock. Redd Foxx wasn't just telling jokes, he was changing comedy for a new generation. Foxx's big break into mainstream fame came in 1972 when he was cast as the grumpy, wisecracking junk dealer Fred G. Sanford in Sanford and Son. This was NBC's American version of the British sitcom Steptoe and Son. The show was created by Norman Lear and premiered during a time of major social change. It quickly became a television landmark. Sanford and Son became a ratings hit and broke ground by focusing on a working class black family. This was extremely rare on primetime TV during that time. Redd Foxx's portrayal of Fred Sanford was unforgettable. He did exaggerated heart attacks, saying, "I'm coming, Elizabeth." He had quick wit and traded insults with his son Lamont, played by DeMont Wilson. This made him a household name and earned him fans from all backgrounds. Behind the scenes, Foxx was both praised and criticized for his fiery personality. He insisted on equal treatment in Hollywood. He often fought with network executives over creative control and fair pay. He blazed a trail for other black entertainers to demand better representation and rights. His stand on labor disputes and racial inequality in the industry earned him respect among his peers and civil rights advocates. After Sanford and Son ended in 1977, Foxx stayed active in television and film. He appeared in shows like the Redd Foxx Comedy Hour and The Royal Family. However, none matched the success of his original sitcom. He kept performing stand-up comedy and took on various acting roles. These roles showed his lasting charisma and comedic timing. He also helped mentor and inspire the next generation of comics, including Richard Pryor and Eddie Murphy. Both of them said he was a major influence in their careers. Redd Foxx, known for his sharp wit and groundbreaking comedy, led a personal life as colorful and complex as his public persona. Over his lifetime, he was married 4 times. Each marriage reflected a different chapter in his journey. They ranged from youthful hope to deep romantic love, painful betrayal, and finally finding companionship again. His first marriage was to Evelyn Kilbrew in 1948. This union came during the earliest days of his career when Foxx was still grinding it out in clubs. He was struggling to establish himself as a professional entertainer. Little is known about their courtship or how their relationship worked, but by 1951, just 3 years later, the marriage had ended in divorce. This brief early marriage likely happened during Foxx's years of instability and ambition. The demands of the road and financial pressures of show business made keeping a home life difficult. Foxx's second marriage was far more significant, both emotionally and professionally. On July 5th, 1956, he married Betty Jean Harris. She was a stunning and talented showgirl and dancer, known in entertainment circles for her charisma and grace. Interestingly, Betty was a colleague of LaWanda Page, the woman who would later famously play Aunt Esther, Fox's Bible-wielding nemesis on Sanford and Son. Foxx and Harris met during a nightclub performance, appearing on the same bill. This showed how tightly knit and connected the black entertainment circuit was during that time. Their romance grew quickly, and they married soon after meeting. What made this marriage especially notable was Betty Jean's willing sacrifice of her own career. As part of their agreement, she chose to step away from show business entirely. She dedicated herself to becoming a full-time housewife and business partner. This wasn't just a personal sacrifice, it was a smart partnership. Betty took charge of Redd Foxx Enterprises, managing much of his financial empire. This included overseeing record stores that Fox owned in Los Angeles. This business venture added to his income and kept his brand strong outside of television. She also took on a motherly role for Fox's family when he adopted her daughter, Debraca, from a previous relationship. Debraca took the last name Fox and was treated as his own daughter, at least for a time. Unfortunately, after nearly 2 decades, this union began to fall apart under the weight of Fox cheating. In 1974, their relationship got worse, leading to a bitter and highly publicized separation. Fox filed for divorce in May of that year, citing incompatibility. This was a vague term that hid the emotional pain beneath the surface. Legal filings reveal a deeper level of mistrust and tension. Fox got a restraining order to prevent Harris from removing or hiding any property from their Las Vegas home. The fight over assets became so intense that Harris was ordered to return $110,000 0 cents that had allegedly been taken from their joint bank accounts. The emotional scars were clear. Fox even skipped Debraca's wedding in 1975, a move that suggested lingering resentment or unresolved pain. Not discouraged by past heartbreak, Fox got married a 3rd time. This time, it was with Jua Yun Cheong, whom he wed on December 31st, 1976, in a fancy ceremony at the Thunderbird Hotel in Las Vegas. Jua was about 20 years younger than Fox and originally came from South Korea. She had arrived in the U.S. relatively recently and was working as a cocktail waitress at the Las Vegas Hilton when she and Fox met. The relationship moved quickly, ending in a high-profile New Year's Eve wedding. Yet despite the glamorous setting and festive occasion, the marriage was full of problems. In October 1979, Fox filed for divorce. Not to be outdone, Joy filed a countersuit alleging cruelty. This was a serious charge that hinted at serious problems behind closed doors. In an interview with Jet Magazine during the breakdown of this marriage, Fox sounded disappointed. "I've been married 3 times and I'm out," he said, expressing a desire to give up on marriage entirely. He further said that the money he was spending on divorce settlements would have been better spent on children. He complained that it should go to the children and not some guy, likely referring to alimony going to ex-wives who may have remarried. The divorce was finalized in 1981, and it came with a steep financial cost. Fox agreed to a $300,000 0 cents settlement, another blow to his increasingly shaky financial standing. Despite his promise never to marry again, Fox Hart had one more chapter left. In July 1991, he married Keiho Cho, a woman from Seoul, South Korea, and this marked his 4th and final marriage. The two had met at Bally's Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas, where Cho worked. Unlike his previous relationships, which often began in the spotlight and ended under public scrutiny, this union was based on mutual support and loyalty. This was especially true during one of the darkest times in Fox's life, his battles with the IRS, which had left him nearly bankrupt. Cho stayed by his side throughout, providing both emotional and practical support. In an interview with Jet, Fox explained why he made the surprising decision to marry again despite his previous disappointments. "She saw me with a nickel, and hopefully she will see me with $1. I'll give her 75 cents of it." His words captured the blend of humor, humility, and hope that defined his late-in-life relationship. They were married at the Little Church of the West in Las Vegas, a venue known for celebrity weddings. They celebrated afterward with a reception at the Hacienda Hotel. This final marriage would last until Fox's untimely death in 1991, making Kao Cho the woman who would stand beside him during his final days. In a moment that surprised fans and industry insiders alike, Redd Foxx, known for his razor-sharp wit and unfiltered honesty, finally opened up about his long-speculated relationship with actress Nancy Kulp. She was best known for her role as Miss Jane Hathaway on the Beverly Hillbillies. For decades, rumors had swirled about the nature of their friendship. Some even whispered of a secret feud or an unexpected alliance, but Fox, never one to avoid speaking his mind, set the record straight in an interview that would later become legendary in television circles. With a sly smile and a twinkle in his eye, he revealed that behind their vastly different public personas, there was a mutual respect. His persona was as the outspoken, boundary-pushing comic from Sanford and Son. Hers was as the prim, proper, and intellectual character on one of America's most beloved sitcoms. This respect had been built in the earliest days of their careers. Foxx told how he first met Nancy Kulp in the late 1950s. It wasn't on a soundstage or red carpet, but in a quiet Hollywood diner frequented by character actors, vaudevillians, and struggling comedians. According to him, it was during one of those late night after show hangouts that they struck up an unlikely conversation about the absurdities of show business and the rigid boxes the industry tried to put them in. He was drawn to Kulp's dry wit and smart humor. She in turn appreciated his boldness and his refusal to conform to anyone's expectations but his own. What began as a casual friendship soon grew into a deep, if unconventional friendship. It was built on mutual admiration and a shared understanding of what it meant to be outsiders in their own ways. In the interview, Foxx brushed aside the juicy rumors that had occasionally floated through tabloids, suggesting romantic tension or animosity. Nancy, we were never romantically involved, he said with a chuckle. She was way too classy for a rascal like me, but she was real, honest, and funny in a way most folks never saw. He described Kulp as a sharp-tongued intellect who could hold her own in any conversation, be it political, philosophical, or comedic. Foxx admitted that he often sought her advice when navigating the complicated world of network television, especially during his battles with censors and studio executives. She'd say, "Redd, just tell the truth, but tell it with a smile." And that always stuck with me. Foxx also revealed that Kulp had stood up for him behind the scenes when others were hesitant to align with a performer known for his controversial routines. During a particularly tense moment in the early 1970s, when network brass questioned whether Sanford and Son would be too risky for mainstream audiences, Kulp allegedly wrote a quiet but powerful letter to an NBC executive. She praised Foxx's brilliance and insisted that television needed voices like his to shake things up. Foxx, visibly moved as he told this story, said, "She never told me she did that. I only found out years later that's the kind of person she was. No spotlight, no fanfare, just grace." Perhaps the most touching part of Foxx's revelation was his admission that he had modeled parts of the Fred Sanford character after people in his life who had surprised him, those who didn't fit the mold but left a mark. Nancy Kulp, he said, was one of them. She was like a Southern lady with a brain sharper than a switchblade. Didn't matter that she played a stiff on TV. Off camera, she was looser than me at a jazz club. By telling the truth about Nancy Kulp, Redd Foxx not only shattered the myth surrounding their relationship, but also painted a picture of two seemingly opposite stars united by integrity, mutual support, and a love of the craft. It was a reminder that the entertainment world, often driven by ego and image, occasionally allowed space for genuine, lasting friendships. These friendships defied expectations. And in that rare moment of honesty, Foxx showed a softer, more thoughtful side, one that acknowledged the people who had helped him along the way, even when the spotlight wasn't on them. On the afternoon of October 11th, 1991, Redd Foxx was on the set of his then new sitcom, The Royal Family. This show was meant to mark his celebrated return to television. The series, produced in part by Eddie Murphy, was designed to showcase Foxx's unique blend of sharp wit and physical comedy while pairing him with another TV veteran, Della Reese, in a multi-generational family setting. However, what was intended to be a creative comeback for Foxx would tragically become his final project. That day, the cast and crew were on a break from rehearsals. Foxx, ever the engaging personality, was chatting with a reporter from Entertainment Tonight. According to Della Reese, who was present during the incident, the scene that was supposed to be rehearsed next was not even ready. But nevertheless, a producer, whom Reese later claimed had clashed with Foxx on multiple occasions, came over and rudely interrupted the interview. This producer had reportedly argued with Foxx in the past, even claiming he could teach Foxx how to be funny, a statement that many who knew Redd considered absurd, if not disrespectful, given Foxx's legendary comedic instincts and decades-long influence on American humor. Despite his irritation, Foxx was led back to the set, even though his only role in the upcoming scene involved simply walking across the stage behind a chair. He had no lines to deliver. Visibly annoyed and perhaps emotionally upset from the ongoing tension, Foxx performed his small part in the scene, but as soon as he finished the movement, he suddenly collapsed on the set. At first, there was no sense of urgency among those watching. In fact, many laughed or watched passively, assuming Foxx was up to one of his usual antics. This was, after all, the man who for years had delighted audiences as Fred Sanford on Sanford and Son. He regularly clutched his chest and cried out, "This is the big one, Elizabeth," in dramatic, comedic, fake heart attacks. His mastery of physical comedy and well-timed pratfalls was so convincing that even his own colleagues were fooled in that critical moment. However, Della Reese quickly realized something was terribly wrong. Foxx did not get up. The humor drained from her face as she rushed to his side. Kneeling down, she listened closely and heard him faintly whisper, "Get my wife." This was a heartbreakingly human plea that he repeated twice. Reese, recognizing the seriousness of the moment, immediately called for emergency medical assistance. The gravity of the situation began to settle over the set, and a sense of disbelief filled the air. Entertainment Weekly journalist Joshua Rich later described the moment with a chilling sense of irony. It was an end so ironic that for a brief moment, castmates figured Foxx, whose 1970 STV character often faked coronaries, was kidding when he grabbed a chair and fell to the floor. The line captured the surreal heartbreak of losing a man whose comedic genius had for so long revolved around pretending to die of a heart attack, only to be taken by a real one on the set. Foxx was rushed by paramedics to Queen of Angels Hollywood Presbyterian Medical Center, where doctors fought to save his life. He was temporarily brought back, but his condition remained critical. Despite the best efforts of medical staff, Redd Foxx was pronounced dead 4.5 hours later. This was a loss that devastated the entertainment community and stunned fans around the world. He was 68 years old. His passing marked not just the end of a remarkable life, but also the silencing of one of comedy's most original and unfiltered voices. Foxx had spent his life challenging boundaries, racial, social, and comedic, with raw truth and fearlessness. His death was mourned deeply by fellow entertainers, particularly Eddie Murphy, who had both admired and worked with Foxx. Murphy had considered him not only a mentor, but also one of the funniest human beings he had ever known. He once stated that Redd Foxx was the most naturally funny person he'd ever encountered, a man who could make others laugh without even trying. In the days following his death, there was discussion about how to honor Foxx's legacy properly. Ultimately, Eddie Murphy personally stepped in to cover all the funeral expenses and ensure that his friend received the dignified farewell he deserved. Foxx was laid to rest at Palm Memorial Park, also known as Palm Eastern Cemetery, in Las Vegas, Nevada. This was a city he had loved and performed in for many years during his stand-up career. His gravestone bears his real name, John Elroy Sanford, and marks the resting place of a trailblazing comedian who influenced generations of performers from Richard Pryor to Chris Rock. He remained a sharp, uncompromising presence until his very last breath.